Alrighty, guys. Happy Monday. It's your boy Stas here. Cheers, by the way. Got the double espresso on deck, as always, as we're about to break down the stock market, which, as of right now, well, we're kind of all over the place. We have some green, we have some red, although the S&P is actually green, and it looks like it's breaking out. We have the Dow down. We have the Russell down, as well as QQQ is up around 0.25%. So I want to break down the indices here, the charts, and we're going to go over some news. Warren Buffett actually just sold out of a stock he held in Berkshire Hathaway for about 17 years. He sold out of this stock completely. We have to cover that and some other stocks I'm looking at. But first, guys, hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. Join the Patreon for my portfolio updates. I actually just posted one today, this morning. Check it out. Link down below or go to stasurfs.com/Patreon. And with that being said, cheers again. Let's dive into it. So it's early, guys. It's only 10:45 a.m. on the East Coast right now. And, well, we have the S&P up a little less than 0.25%. Same with QQQ, as the Russell is down about 0.25%. And the Dow is pretty much at break even, barely down about 17 points. So we are not really doing much. Not a crazy green day, and it's not a crazy red day either at this point, although we are noticing SPY is going for the all-time high, which we did cover this yesterday, right? Do you guys remember that? SPY, I mentioned how we have a bit of a bullish pattern setting up heading into this week, and here it is playing out. You can see we're pushing past the highs actually from Friday, and now we're going towards the highs, the all-time high from Thursday. In the pre-market, we hit 665. So SPY, man, looks like it's going all-time highs. Looks like we have a little kind of a cup and handle in a way playing out here. My alert set at 665. It looks like this thing is about to break out, guys, and QQQ, well, is already breaking out. This is now hitting all-time highs as I'm making this video. Now we're pushing over $600, guys. $600.45 is where we're at. And, oh, wait, who called that out? Not to toot my own horn, but did we not call out a $600 QQQ about a week ago? Well, here we are. And at this point, guys, the reality is you can make an argument that we're due for a pullback, but it's not. We're not seeing any signs of it. We're not getting the pullback yet. So until then, until we get the confirmation, we have to be patient. And I agree. I think we do need a pullback, but we're just not getting it yet. We might get it later this week. We'll see. But I think into October, heading into October, that's where we're going to get a pullback. I've mentioned that before here on the channel. I'll say it again. With the way things have played out, now that September was not terrible, historically September is a terrible month. Now that it's been a pretty good September, I think we're going to get set up for maybe an early October pullback, mid-October pullback, which is going to set us up for that big move at the end of the year, in my opinion. So if we go over here to SPY, I just got my alert, 665 just broke. It's about to go to all-time highs, guys. We're there. By the time you're watching this, it might already be at all-time highs. So before we dive deeper into other stocks I'm looking at, or stocks in general I'm looking at, let me show you what Buffett did. So Warren Buffett sold out of BYD. So if you guys didn't know, Buffett has been in BYD for 17 years. I was reading since 2000, and it was either 08 or 09. We'll take a look here in a second, but we can see right here, Berkshire totally exits its profitable stake in Chinese EV maker BYD. In August of 2022, that's when they actually started selling initially, about 3 years ago. Berkshire began to reduce their $225 million stake position they had purchased in 2008 for $230 million. So they put $250 million, guys, in 08, which in 2008 money, come on, it's still an unbelievable amount of money, but in 08, $230 million was a lot more. Let's just say that. So that investment grew big time, and with any investment, like any investment, you're going to lock in profits. You're going to slowly start scaling out, just like you scale in a position, you scale out as well. And that's what Buffett has been doing for the last 3 years. And you can see here by June of last year, Berkshire had sold almost 76% of its stake in BYD, bringing it to just under 5% of BYD's outstanding shares. So yeah, I mean, and you can see it here on this chart. They started selling, like I said, in August of 22, and well, slowly but surely, month after month, the stake kept being reduced, and now it's at zero. So that's how it goes, guys. And this shows you here as well the value of Berkshire's BYD investment. When you make a successful investment and you're up hundreds of thousands of percent, scaling out, it's going to come. It's going to come. You're going to get to that point eventually where you're going to be scaling out, locking profits. Not with every position. Buffett's held Coca-Cola forever. But when it comes to certain stocks, you're going to scale out of them when you're up big time. It's smart. And you're seeing Buffett do that. And he's been doing that for the last couple of years. And I'm pretty sure, look at this. I don't know exactly how much he made percentage-wise or dollar-wise on this position, but it was actually Charlie Munger's idea. Buffett was urged by Charlie Munger 17 years ago, the late, great Charlie Munger. He urged him 17 years ago at the 2009 meeting to really start going more into BYD, and it was an incredible call. BYD shares increased by roughly 3,900% during the years Berkshire owned them. Think about that, guys. Almost 4,000%. And I don't know if they captured that entire gain. Obviously, they scaled out a little bit. But, man, I would love to know their actual return on the position. It's got to be thousands of percent, if I had to guess. Again, it's probably not this entire 4,000% gain. But, man, it's depending on when they got in, got out. Either way, thousands of percent, guys. It's remarkable, right? And Munger has called out a lot of good stocks for Buffett, and this is definitely one of them. Unbelievable, man, unbelievable. So yeah, that's a lesson in and of itself of locking in profits. Not every stock is meant to hold forever. You might hear that out there that, oh, you got to buy and hold a stock forever. That's not always the case. Sometimes if you notice a crack in management, I'm not saying BYD is seeing a crack in management or the business is suffering, but sometimes it's smart to get out. And honestly, EVs are struggling a bit worldwide. Let's keep it real. So I'm sure that is a big reason why Buffett got out of this stock. But yeah, I mean, he probably started seeing the trend of EVs starting to slow down a couple of years ago, and he really started aggressively getting out. And it kind of makes sense, but we'll see. It doesn't mean BYD is going to suck as an investment for the next 10 years, but it is something worth noting when Buffett gets out, which is why we're covering it here in this video, guys. So yeah, let's quickly go over some other stocks. And by the way, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe. I appreciate you all for tuning in. As always, follow along for more. Cheers. Let me actually get some coffee, by the way, guys. Oh man, nothing hits like a double espresso, right? So at this point, we do have a lot of movers. Duolingo is moving. DUOL is up about 6.2%. We're back over $300 a share, guys, and it's not breaking the downtrend yet, but it is testing this resistance, major resistance at about $310, $315, right by the 180 SMA. That's a big spot. That's a big spot overall for the stock, which, look, we do have a double bottom breakout starting to form. We did maintain 250 to 270, which has been support all year. That was support earlier in 2025, guys. The fact that we held it again, double bottom breakout starting to form, I like it. But we have to break out of, I would say, 320, break out of the highs from a couple days ago, break out of this moving average, and if we do that, we could see a lot more upside. So that's DUOL. Let's see here. What else, guys, do I want to go over on the watch list? We do have GameStop moving. I don't know why, but GameStop. Let's see. GME. Oh, wow. GME has been moving. Excuse me, guys. It has been moving for the last couple of really 2 weeks, if that, since earnings came out. And, looks like the gap is starting to fill back to about 30. But I'm scared. I don't trust it past $30, guys. I'm scared to get in here. I feel like this could be a trap. I feel like GME could easily fill the gap to 30, no doubt. But then from there, I think it's going to come back to the low mid 20s like it kind of has been doing for the last year. I mean, if you guys look at the chart, yeah, it's peaked out to 30, 32 a couple times, but it's fallen down to $20 time and time again. I think that's going to happen here again because the reality is, man, we're not seeing any huge changes fundamentally in their business. Sure, they're buying Bitcoin, but how far is that going to get them? How far is that going to get the stock price? There are some people out there that think, oh, you're going to buy a stock that holds Bitcoin on the reserves, and then you're going to just automatically 50x your stock. It's not going to happen all the time. Not necessarily how it works. That's too risky. So for me, guys, I'm staying away from GME, but it is interesting looking at it go up 4%. And honestly, it could see a little more upside, maybe a little more juice to 30, but I'd be very careful at $30 on GME, guys. I don't think this time's different. I don't think we're going to break out the $50 or 40 or even 38 for that matter, which is where it was a couple months ago. But I could be wrong. Who knows? That's just my opinion. What do you guys think about that? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we do have a lot of other movers. Tesla. Oh, that's another one. Tesla keeps on going, guys. It filled the gap from 425 to about 445. That was the high from the middle end of January. So now we're pushing highs on the 4-hour chart on Tesla. And the reality is, guys, this stock is about $50 from all-time highs. That's a little nutty to me. The fact that this stock is trading near all-time highs is nuts. I think, the future with robots, it's going to be great. FSD, awesome, but man, I think this price is getting detached from reality right now because the reality is they're not making money from robots. They're not making money from FSD. Automobiles is where they're making a lot of the money, all the money, most of the money, and that segment is struggling big time. So I don't know how Tesla stock has doubled. I mean, of course I do. I know how it's doubled. The market's up. There's a lot of hype around it. Elon's been out of the spotlight. It makes sense. I know why it's up, but I don't think it's going to last. I don't think it's going to last, and we'll leave it at that. I think we have a major gap to fill back down to the mid-high 300s. If I'm being totally honest, guys, that's where I think we're going to end up. And I'm not ballsy enough to buy puts right now. I'll keep it real, but it is something I've considered. And speaking of puts, OKLO is still very hot. We actually hit $146 overnight, it seems like. And now the stock's starting to go to the mid-130s again. This is one that I'm also looking at for puts, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. We'll see. We'll see, guys. I'll keep you updated. And with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to join the Patreon if you want to keep up with what I'm doing in my portfolio. I post updates every week. I actually posted one today. And we deposit money every week. We buy stocks every week. If you guys want to get insight on that, that's linked down below on Patreon, or go to stasserfest.com/Patreon. That's STASSERFES.com/Patreon. Make sure you guys join. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you in the next video.